Hi guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Thank you for joining with me. I appreciate you logging on and viewing the video today. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that subscribe button for me. I'd appreciate it. But today I wanted to talk about how to make money with life insurance. And there's so many different ways that this can be accomplished. There's so many different policies out there. Some of the wealthiest people in America are putting their money back in life insurance. There's reasons for that. But today I just want to kind of go over just a few of the basic ones, some of the simplest ones here. Um, but the question gets brought up to me a lot. How can I make money with life insurance? There's a couple of different ways to do that. One of them is as a consumer, and the other one is as an agent. And we'll kind of go into a little bit about both of those. But for the first one, life policies. So life policies have so much more potential than just if you pass away. Now we all know a life policy is it's paid out upon a death. So there's a beneficiary and there's a way that they can collect that money. Okay, perfect. But there's so much more to life policies than just that. That's just as the expression goes, the tip of the iceberg. So one way that you can make money if you already have an existing policy in place is to sell your policy. There's companies out there that will buy your whole life, your universal life, your term life policies, and those are called they're called life settlements. There's actual brokers out there that will try to get you the best deal for your policy. So you go to a life settlement broker, and they can help you out to find a company to sell that policy to. And pretty much what they do is they'll pay you out. Let's say your policy is worth, let's just say $200,000. And they have a policy, there's a company out there that says, we'll give you $125,000 cash today for your policy. And then usually what happens is they'll hold on to it and collect the death settlement when you pass away. The other one is to use it as a retirement plan. Now, this is generally done with a whole life or a universal life, which is a type of whole life policy. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can have the policy in place. They'll usually collect some kind of an interest, like 4.5%, something like that. And you can just let it grow. It's going to give you a lot more money than if you just put that money into the bank. And then when you're ready, you can either cash out that money or you can borrow against the money. Now, the cool thing about borrowing against the money, which I only recommend doing if you are planning on giving the money back, but when you borrow the money, you're going to pay an interest on that money, but you're going to pay the interest to yourself. So it's kind of like if you have a 401k, and if you've ever borrowed money against your 401k, it's kind of the same concept almost. Whereas you're paying yourself back this money, but you're paying yourself an interest on this money, and it's a whole lot less than what you would do if you borrowed money from a bank. So I always suggest that people, if they're looking at something like that, to make sure you have enough money coming in there that you can actually do something with it when the time comes. You can cash it out or borrow against it. And the cool thing about that is if you borrow against it, whatever money is in there that you haven't borrowed out will still get paid out as a death benefit to your beneficiary should something happen to you, God forbid. But if something happens to you while you have money borrowed out, that money doesn't necessarily have to be paid back. It just goes against the cash out, the death benefit. The other way is to use that money to pay for your estate taxes or your final expenses. So what a lot of people don't realize when you pass away, that year that you pass away, there's a couple of things that still have to be paid after your passing. One of them is any debts that you may have. The other one is actually your taxes for that year. I mean, I know the old saying goes, the only thing that's certain is death and taxes. Well, there's taxes and death. So we have to make sure that we have enough money set aside to pay for those taxes. And you can actually set up a policy. We do this all the time. We set up a policy for somebody just for their final expenses or for their final that final year of estate taxes. And we'll have enough money set aside so that money can get paid out to their beneficiary tax free. And then the beneficiary can take care of the final expenses and pay for the estate taxes and take care of all that. That's usually done with a whole life policy. So that money doesn't expire. It's not a term, so it doesn't expire. And that money can be used for that. The other way to make, there's plenty of different ways as a consumer to make money. Those are the three most common areas. There's a lot of different areas. different policies that we can use to have a residual type of income coming in. But those are the primary ones that we deal with the most often. The next area is if you actually becoming an agent. Now, I put on here one of my, but obviously that's not me. That guy is not me. But one of the best decisions I ever made was becoming a life insurance agent. I love my job. I love helping people. I love getting them planned for the future. I love that when somebody, God forbid, if somebody's passed away, our time on this earth is limited. But when somebody passes away and I know that I took care of that family and that family does not have to worry about finances, even in that tragic time. One of those cares, one of those worries, one of those burdens is now lifted away from them. So I love becoming a life insurance agent, and the compensation is pretty good as well. In that most of the time when you sell a life insurance policy to somebody, you set somebody up for a life insurance policy. You get a commission on that, and then you also will get residuals as long as their policy stays in good. Starting the next year, you'll also get some residuals. I remember back when I got started in the insurance industry, I was talking to one of my buddies. I was working for a funeral home, and I was talking to one of my buddies that worked there, and he said, we were talking about retirement, stuff like that. He says, well, my dad, he makes such and such money besides his retirement fund. And I said, well, how does he do that? And he said, well, he gets residuals. And I said, residuals from what? And he said, well, he used to be a life insurance agent. He retired, so and so many years ago, and he's still able to get residuals off of the insurance policies that he sold. And I said, well, why are we not doing this? Because at the time, we didn't get residuals. And so that's when I started looking into different companies and about selling life insurance. That's what actually piqued my interest about it was getting residuals. So my whole point behind this of this is if you're interested in getting into the industry of insurance and life insurance, then I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you about it. See if you're interested in becoming an agent and getting your license and starting that world of insurance. It's extremely fun. It's extremely exciting. You're able to help people. You're taking burdens off of families and making sure that people feel secure and safe and that their family is going to be taken care of. And that's an amazing thing to do. And on top of all that, you're getting residuals, you're getting commissions, you're getting paid for doing it, and that makes it even better. So I hope this answered any questions that you may have about how can you make money off of life insurance policies. There's plenty of ways out there, and I hate to say it because in the insurance industry, it's kind of cliche, but every situation is unique. So your situation, what works for you, what makes you money, what gives a little bit of extra income to you may not work for somebody else. And vice versa. What works for them may not work for you. The policy they have may not be the policy that you need, and kind of vice versa. So it's always good to sit down with your agent, with your life insurance agent, and kind of discuss where you're at financially, where you're at, with your family. If you're purchasing a house, purchasing cars, stuff like that. Whenever your debt changes, especially when it increases, you really need to talk to your agent and kind of let them know and see if there's any recommendations that they may have for you, because there might be. I've seen people increase their life insurance policies. I've seen people decrease them. I've seen people cash out some because they no longer need this one anymore. So because their circumstances have changed. So every circumstance is different. It is unique, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Insurance can be very person specific. And that's why there's so many different options out there, so many different things that can work for each individual person specifically. And that's an amazing thing. That means that, you're not paying for something that you don't need. You're only paying for the things that you do need. And that can be a huge, powerful tool. If you have questions, if you don't have a life insurance agent already, and you're in the market for one, you wanted to find out more about insurance, there's going to be a link in the description. You can click that link and meet with me. If you're interested in becoming an agent, you have any questions about it, please feel free to do the same. I'd be happy to talk with you, let you know my experiences, the troubles that I had getting my license, anything like that. I'd be happy to help you out with that. You can use that same link and meet with me. I try to limit my meetings to about 15 minutes or so. So if you notice in the slot in there, it'll be about 15 minutes. And any available slot I have in there, I'd be happy to meet with you and talk with you and answer any questions that you may have. I appreciate your time today. And as always, if you have specific questions, you can either email me directly or you can put them in the comments. I know sometimes the questions are a little personal, so you don't want to always put those in the comments, and I understand that. That's perfectly fine. If you want to meet with me, that's great. If you just have a question, you want to send an email to me, that'll work as well, and I'll be happy to answer those and get those back to you as soon as I can. But you guys have a fantastic day, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much.